Episode 2: Digital Ghosts and Data Shadows. 1. Arrival at the Quantum Eye Laboratory. The flight to Lima was bumpy due to the residual storm activity, but the real journey took place on the ground. After a thorough decontamination protocol in Lima, the team secured the artifact in a radiation-proof, magnetically shielded container and boarded a bullet train to Cusco. By the time they arrived, the sun had dipped below the Andean peaks, painting the sky a deep crimson. The Quantum Eye Lab was housed in a sprawling modern complex made primarily of glass and steel. Surrounded by high fences and patrolled by security drones, the facility looked more like a cutting-edge corporate research center than an academic institution. Yet, it was funded jointly by government grants and private tech conglomerates, all vying for breakthroughs in quantum computing. "Security is tighter than I expected," Delgado noted, presenting his ID at a checkpoint. "The Quantum Eye is rumored to be the most powerful quantum computing system in South America," explained Dr. Fang. "Developed through a collaboration between the Brazilian Tech Initiative and Argentinian AI labs. They guard it like gold." Within the central lab, they were met by Dr. Samantha Alvarez, head of advanced research. Tall, poised, with an air of authority, Alvarez wore a stylish suit and carried a tablet with the lab's crest. She greeted them warmly, yet professionally, her eyes lingering with curiosity on the container holding the artifact. "We've received your request for a full-spectrum quantum resonance analysis," she said. "Is this the object in question?" Felicia nodded, gesturing to Fang, who carefully set the container on a high-security work table. "We're hoping you can help us find out what's inside, or if there's data embedded in it." "We'll do our best," Alvarez said. She tapped a command into her tablet, and a series of robotic arms and sensors unfurled from the ceiling. "We'll begin with a thorough resonance tomography. Then we'll move to a quantum entanglement data search, scanning for stored qubits." Fang exchanged a subtle look with Felicia. Even in 2040, the ability to read stored qubits in a mysterious device was borderline science fiction. The fact that the Quantum Eye Lab was equipped to do so spoke volumes about the leaps technology had taken in the last decade. "How soon can we start?" Carmen asked, adjusting her glasses. "Immediately," Alvarez replied. For the next several hours, the artifact was subject to the most advanced scanning equipment on the planet. The lab's spherical chamber was lined with superconducting circuits. Temperature sensors brought the environment to near absolute zero in certain spots. Their goal was to minimize thermal noise to detect even the faintest quantum signals. The artifact was placed at the center of this sphere, bathed in scanning beams that probed every subatomic nook. Meanwhile, Felicia and Delgado paced outside in a viewing gallery, watching the process through a glass partition. Fang sat at a console with Alvarez, monitoring readouts. Carmen scribbled notes, occasionally pressing her face to the glass in awe. "Do you think we'll find something conclusive?" Delgado asked softly. "I hope so," Felicia replied. "I'm honestly torn between wanting this to be a hoax and wanting it to be something truly extraordinary." "Be careful what you wish for," Delgado murmured, recalling the local guide's talk of aliens. 2. The shocking results. After nearly 5 hours of scanning, Alvarez emerged from the chamber control room with Fang in tow. Their expressions were a mix of exhilaration and confusion. "We found something," Alvarez said, keeping her voice controlled but tight with excitement. "The device does contain qubits, an arrangement of quantum states that appear to store encoded information. It's like a next-generation quantum storage medium." "That's incredible," Felicia said. "So it's definitely man-made." "As far as we can tell, yes," Fang answered. "There's no indication of an exotic origin beyond Earth. The materials, though advanced, are synthetic composites we theoretically could produce." "Then it might be a sophisticated hoax," Delgado said. "Or some top-secret prototype that ended up buried in an ancient tomb." "Possibly," Alvarez continued, her lips pressing into a thin line. But there's more. The quantum lifetime markers we use to estimate the device's manufacture date suggest it's extremely recent. Within the last 3 years, give or take. This isn't some relic from 50 or 100 years ago, it's practically brand new. The team exchanged stunned looks. Even though their earlier field tests hinted at a recent origin, seeing it confirmed at the highest level was jarring. Then why place it in an ancient tomb in the Peruvian jungle? Carmen asked, an edge in her voice. It makes no sense unless someone wanted it to be found under bizarre circumstances. Or wanted to hide it from someone else, Fang suggested. A remote, centuries-old tomb in the jungle is a good place to stash something. Who would think to look there? Felicia raised an eyebrow. But it was eventually found, almost as if it was meant to be discovered. This is deliberate, no matter how you slice it. This might be just the beginning, Alvarez said, her gaze drifting to the artifact behind the glass. We're attempting to decode the stored qubits, but the encryption is formidable, unlike anything we've seen. We may need days of dedicated quantum computing time to crack it, maybe more. We'll stay as long as it takes, Felicia declared, ignoring the tightness forming in her chest. Something about this felt bigger than them, as if they were pawns in someone else's game. Third late-night conversation. 2 nights later, the team found themselves ensconced in a lounge just off the main lab corridor. It was nearing midnight, yet the flickering LED strips on the ceiling revealed the tired but restless faces of Felicia, Delgado, Fang, and Carmen. They sat on sleek modern couches, sipping vending machine coffee, while across from them, Atlas and Vega recharged in a corner, their artificial minds presumably at rest. Any progress with the encryption? Delgado asked Fang. Not yet, Fang said, massaging his temple. We keep hitting a wall. The quantum entanglement scheme is highly advanced, likely proprietary. We're trying known cryptographic algorithms, but none are working. We might need a specialized cryptographer, Carmen suggested, or someone with knowledge of who created this device. Felicia nodded. Dr. Alvarez mentioned that she has some contacts in the global cryptography community. She's reaching out to see if any known labs are working on this level of technology. I wish we could glean more from the artifact's inscriptions, Carmen said wistfully. But those etched lines aren't a language as far as I can tell. They're circuit paths. Not exactly my expertise. Delgado rubbed his chin. Still, we're missing a motive. Who gains what by burying a brand new quantum storage device in an ancient Peruvian tomb? The hum of lab machinery provided a backdrop of electronic static. They all turned to look at the sealed room beyond the glass wall, where the artifact sat beneath a heavy protective field. The environment was carefully controlled, only allowing authorized personnel to enter. This is going to sound crazy, Fang said after a moment. But the device could be a plant from some off-world entity, if it's not from Earth. We found no evidence of that, Felicia reminded him gently. The material is synthetic, but still consistent with Earth-based elements. Let's not go jumping to an alien origin. You're right, Fang conceded. But I can't ignore the possibility. I've seen some advanced prototypes, but nothing quite like this. Maybe it's from a black-budget project. Maybe from a private corporation that's leaps ahead in quantum tech, or maybe from a foreign power experimenting in covert ways. Felicia closed her eyes for a second, letting the theories swirl in her mind. The possibilities were vast, and each new angle only deepened the mystery. Let's try to get some rest, she finally said. We can't do much more until we see if Dr. Alvarez can crack the encryption. Tomorrow's another day. They all stood, powering down the lounge's lights, each carrying the weight of the unsolved puzzle. Vega and Atlas followed them out, their robotic forms gliding and stepping silently through the corridors. Fourth, an urgent communication. At dawn the next day, Felicia was awakened by the insistent chirp of her wrist communicator. She sat up in the small dorm room provided by the lab, rubbing her eyes. Doctor, Morales. It was Dr. Alvarez, sounding anxious. We just got a call from a research team in Tibet. They claim to have found something almost identical to your artifact at a burial site in the Himalayas. Felicia blinked in disbelief. Wait, identical how? They sent preliminary scans. The shape, the crystalline nodules, the fractal etchings. It's nearly the same object. Felicia's heartbeat quickened. Another one? Was this some global phenomenon? I'm on my way, she said, quickly pulling on her clothes. Gather the team. A few minutes later, they were all assembled in the central control room. The large holodisplay showed side-by-side images of two artifacts. Felicia's artifact on the left and a newly discovered one on the right. Beyond minor scuffs and color variations, they were practically twins. This is from a Himalayan burial site in Tibet, Alvarez explained. The site is centuries old, but the artifact is apparently new, just like ours. Delgado ran a hand through his hair. So it's not just Peru. I made some phone calls, Alvarez continued, her tone grave. There are unconfirmed reports of similar discoveries in Indonesia, New Guinea, and even in a submerged ceremonial site off the coast of Japan, all found in the last couple of weeks. Carmen looked stunned. This is bigger than we thought. Someone, or something, is planting these artifacts in ancient burial sites around the world. But why? Felicia whispered. No one had an answer. Fang gazed at the data on the holoscreen, his eyes dark with a mixture of fear and excitement. We have to investigate these other sites, he finally said. Coordinate with the teams there, compare data, see if the encryption or the quantum storage patterns match. Maybe we can piece together the bigger puzzle. Felicia nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. I'll get funding and clearance. We can't just sit here. If there are multiple artifacts, we need to find out who's behind this and what they contain. They all recognized the stakes. What was once an intriguing curiosity had become a global mystery, pulling them deeper with every new piece of evidence. 5. Departure and suspicion. That evening, Felicia, Delgado, Fang, and Carmen convened in Dr. Alvarez's office to plan their next steps. The Tibetan researchers had already invited them to collaborate. Preliminary images from the other sites were inconclusive, but every rumor pointed to a consistent pattern: advanced quantum devices hidden in places of ancient significance. I think we should split up, Delgado suggested. Send some of us to Tibet, others to Indonesia. We can cover more ground. That would be best, Fang agreed. But we'll need the resources, travel, local guides, permits. Leave that to me, Doctor, Alvarez said with a quiet determination. This is clearly of global importance. I'll contact my sponsors and government partners. What about the artifact here? Felicia asked. We haven't cracked it yet. We'll keep working, Alvarez assured. You focus on gathering more data from the other sites. The more we know, the closer we might get to unlocking the device's secrets. They stood to leave, tension etched in their faces. As Felicia collected her notes, she caught a glimpse of Fang staring intently at a monitor that displayed the artifact's quantum encryption patterns, colorful fractal shapes swirling in the screen. He seemed enthralled, as if trying to read meaning into chaos. You okay? She asked softly. Yeah, Fang said, not turning away from the screen. It's just, if this is recent, if there are multiples, the odds that it's some random fluke seem astronomically small. It's almost like someone wants us to find them. Felicia shivered. Let's hope whoever it is, they have harmless intentions. Yeah, Fang said quietly. Let's hope. Outside, night descended upon the towering Andean peaks. Somewhere across the globe, more artifacts lay nestled in ancient tombs, waiting to be found or revealed. The stage was set for a journey that would take Felicia and her colleagues from the high passes of the Himalayas to the dense jungles of Indonesia, from mysterious island cultures in the Pacific to the far corners of the earth. A global treasure hunt had begun, yet it felt more like a trap. They would soon discover that the more they learned, the less they understood, and that the greatest mysteries were still to come.